My name is Maya Cross, and I'm 28 years old. To the outside world, I'm just the youngest child of the Cross family, privileged, yes, but forever stuck behind my older siblings. My sister Liz, a high-powered lawyer with a flawless resume, and my brother Jake, a venture capitalist, have always lived in the spotlight, while I've spent the last 5 years driving a delivery van. Sure, I built my own business, but no one in the family seems to care about that. I've always felt like the black sheep, the one they tolerate but never truly accept. Maybe that's why, when I finally had something worth sharing, an $850 million investment deal that could change everything, I stayed silent. I didn't want them to see me as the girl who failed at life, even if it was all a lie. But now, as I sit here reading the text from my father, I wonder if it's too late to change the narrative. I need your help. It's bigger than you think, Maya. The house smells of fresh-cut flowers and expensive cologne when I walk through the door. Another family dinner at my parents' place. The table set with silver, fine china, and the crisp crackle of too many years of perfection. I know the drill. I smile, kiss my mother's cheek, exchange pleasantries with Liz, and pretend to listen as my father talks about the latest financial summit he attended. Good to see you, Maya, Dad says, his eyes barely leaving the financial report on his iPad. It's all the acknowledgement I get, but it's the usual. Frank Cross, the man who built his empire from the ground up, had no time to waste on his youngest child. Not when there were more important things to discuss, like Liz's new promotion or Jake's latest acquisition. I settle into my usual spot at the corner of the table, my eyes darting to Liz. She's holding court, her laughter sharp, effortless. She could talk her way into anything, and she knows it. It's always been like this. Hey, Maya, you still delivering those meal kits around town? Liz asks with a glint in her eye. I bite back the sting. Yeah, keeping busy, I reply, my voice neutral. Dad looks up, his eyes flicking between me and Liz. You know, you could really use a change, Maya. Something more stable. More respectable. He sets the iPad down, his tone shifting into something more condescending. Maybe a nice desk job like Liz. She's really going places. I feel the familiar knot in my stomach tighten. I want to yell, to remind them that I'm the one who built something from nothing, but I don't. Instead, I smile thinly, taking a sip of my wine. I'm doing just fine, Dad. Across the table, my mother's eyes flutter to me. Her smile is thin too, as if she's afraid to speak the wrong words. The tension between us always feels like static, just waiting for the right spark. But I've learned how to ignore it. It's easier than confronting the truth. I'm a disappointment. To them, to myself. The van I drive, the small deliveries, they're just a facade for the real work I've done, work they'll never understand. So, when do you get to take a real vacation, Maya? Liz asks, her voice too sweet. You've earned it, haven't you? I mean, how hard can it be driving those trucks around? The laughter that follows feels like acid, burning a hole in my chest. I force a smile. I like to keep busy, I reply. But it's all starting to feel too much. The lies, the expectations, the constant weight of not being enough. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I slip it out discreetly, hoping no one notices, and I see the notification from the Bank of Georgetown. My heart skips a beat. The email confirms it, the $850 million investment is approved. But there's something else. My phone rings just after I read it, the number unfamiliar. Without thinking, I answer. Maya Cross, a voice on the other end says, tight, professional. This is Brian from the Bank of Georgetown. We've processed your investment request. Congratulations. The funds have been successfully transferred. I can feel the world around me go silent. The gravity of the moment hits me. $850 million. I've just entered a different world, one my family could never dream of. But I can't tell them. Not now. Not here. Before I can respond, the call ends. The quiet hum of the room rushes back in. I slip my phone back into my pocket, trying to hide the wild pounding of my pulse. I glance at Liz. She's watching me, but she doesn't know. No one knows. Not yet. I'm about to stand up and make an excuse to leave when I hear the heavy footfalls of my father approaching. He looks at me, eyes cold, assessing. "Maya," he says, voice low. "The deal is bigger than you think. I need your help. There's been a complication." My heart skips. For a split second, I almost laugh. He needs my help? The man who's always believed I'm the one who needs saving? But I don't laugh. Not now. "What's going on, Dad?" I ask, keeping my voice steady. He glances around the room, checking to see if anyone's listening, before leaning in closer. "You need to come with me. Now. There's a lot more at stake than your investments." I don't have time to react. The urgency in his voice, the fear that flickers in his eyes, is all the confirmation I need. I stand up without a word, following him out of the dining room and into the cold night air. Just then, my phone buzzes again. A text from my father: "I need your help. It's bigger than you think, Maya." I look at the message, feeling the world shift beneath my feet. This isn't just about money. It never was. The real game has just begun. I follow my father down the dimly lit corridor, the faint echo of our footsteps the only sound in the otherwise silent mansion. The lavish surroundings are eerily quiet, almost too perfect, like a stage waiting for something to go terribly wrong. It's always been this way with him, cold, calculated, efficient. Frank Cross, the man who built his empire from the ground up, has always carried that air of control. But tonight, that control is slipping. "I've been keeping something from you, Maya," he says, his voice low, almost guarded. He's walking fast, too fast, like he can't get us to the steady quickly enough. I stay silent, watching him from behind. The familiar feeling of unease churns in my stomach, and 1,000 thoughts race through my mind. What could possibly be so urgent that my father needs me, of all people, to help him? The same man who's ignored every successful decision I've ever made? The steady door clicks open, and my father steps aside, letting me in. The room is darker than usual. The soft light from the desk lamp casts long shadows on the walls, but it's not the usual comforting glow of his office. It feels cold, alien. I step in, looking around. The room seems untouched, the same old bookshelves, the same antique desk, but something's off. I don't know what it is, but I feel it. My pulse quickens. "Sit down," he says abruptly, motioning to the chair across from his desk. His eyes flicker toward the window, and I notice the faint tension in his shoulders, the tightness in his jaw. "I have a favor to ask." I sit. My mind races. A favor? From him? It's the first time in my life he's asked anything of me. It's strange. Too strange. He sits across from me, staring at his hands for a moment before meeting my eyes. There's a shift in his expression, like he's trying to calculate his next words, weighing them against the cost of telling me the truth. "I'm in a bit of trouble," he finally admits, his voice tinged with something I don't recognize, fear. It's brief, but it's enough to make my stomach flip. "Trouble?" I repeat, trying to keep the disbelief from my voice. "What kind of trouble?" He runs a hand through his thinning hair, his gaze flicking around the room again. "It's complicated," he mutters, like he's not sure how to phrase it. "I've made some choices. Choices that put us all at risk." I lean forward, the tension in the room palpable now. My mind starts to whirl with possibilities: investments gone wrong, a business deal gone sideways. But nothing prepares me for what he says next. "There's a person. Someone who's been using my company, using me. And now they've made their move." His words hit me like a slap. "Who?" I managed to say, my throat suddenly dry. "Who's behind this?" I'm not sure yet, he says, his voice dropping lower. But whoever they are, they've already started making their moves. They know everything. About us. About you. The mention of me makes my heart skip. I open my mouth to respond, but he cuts me off. It's bigger than you think, he says, his voice dark, steady. I need you to help me handle this. You're the only one who can. Why me? I ask before I can stop myself. Why would I be the one to help you clean up your mess? He leans in, his eyes burning into mine. Because you're the only one who can keep this quiet. Your investments, what you've built with your own hands, it's the perfect cover. No one will see you coming. Not even the ones who think they have control. I freeze. You want me to cover for you? I can't keep the disbelief out of my voice. Dad, what are you talking about? This isn't something I can just. He slams his fist on the desk, cutting me off. You will help me, Maya. I don't care if you don't like it. You're the only one who knows how to keep things quiet. The words hit me like a punch to the gut. The weight of his command crushes me, and for a moment, I can't breathe. He's always treated me like I was the weak one. But now, this feels different. It feels like he's backed me into a corner. The room is thick with tension. I feel trapped. I want to refuse. I want to tell him to figure it out himself. But the look in his eye stops me. The desperation. The fear that I never thought I'd see in my father's eyes. I can't quite put it together. How does the man who built a fortune suddenly find himself in a corner? Just as I open my mouth to speak, there's a knock at the door. My father jumps, his eyes darting to the door before settling back on me. Who is it? He demands, his voice suddenly harsh. It's just me, comes a voice from outside the door. It's the voice of someone I've never heard before, low, cautious. My father stands, his face pale. Stay here, he orders, before turning and walking to the door. I don't even think about questioning him. I just sit there, trying to make sense of what's happening. A few seconds pass before the door opens, revealing a man I don't recognize, tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in black, and wearing a dark expression that sends a chill down my spine. He doesn't even acknowledge me. His eyes are locked on my father. Sir, the man says, his voice clipped. It's time. My father nods, his face suddenly rigid. I'll be there in a minute. He turns back to me, and there's something in his eyes that I can't place, a mixture of guilt and fear. Maya, he says, his voice softer now, this is bigger than I can explain right now. But I need you to trust me. I don't say anything. I just nod, but my mind is racing. Before I can process it all, the man in black steps forward, handing my father a small, sealed envelope. Get it done, the man says. Will do, my father replies, his voice suddenly hard again. He turns to leave, and for a moment, I feel like I'm being left behind, completely in the dark, yet fully involved in something I don't understand. As the door shuts behind them, the weight of it all hits me. The pieces don't fit. And I have the sinking feeling they never will. I'm not just a delivery girl anymore. I'm a pawn in a game far bigger than I could have imagined. I stare at the black and white photo in front of me. It's a picture of a house, or what used to be a house. It's burnt down, the windows shattered, the front door missing. Nothing left but ashes and the faint stench of smoke still lingering in the air. The caption reads, "Fire claimed the property of the Cross family." It's my father's estate. Or at least, it was. The image blurs as I focus too hard on it, trying to piece together the pieces of a life I don't recognize anymore. The house in this picture is the one where I grew up, the one my father told me we'd always own. The file, the one he left me earlier, has a letter attached to it. I recognize the handwriting, but the words don't make sense. You have to keep them quiet, Maya. The fire wasn't an accident. I can't breathe. The sound of my father's heavy footsteps coming toward me jerks me back to the present. The walls seem to close in around me. I quickly slide the letter under the file, hiding it beneath the mountain of paperwork. My mind is spinning. The fire? What fire? And why is he? Maya, his voice cuts through the fog of my thoughts. We need to move quickly. This is bigger than we anticipated. I turn, and there he is, as collected as ever, his eyes sharp as knives. The same man who raised me to be strong, never to show weakness. But now, I don't know who I'm looking at. His hands are shaking. It's subtle, but it's there. My father, the one who's always been the rock, he's cracking. Dad, what's going on? I ask, the words scraping against my throat. He looks away for a moment. It's brief, but I catch it. The hesitation. For the first time, I feel like he's hiding something from me. Something big. We've been targeted, Maya. The house to fire. It was the first step. My heart drops into my stomach. Targeted? By who? I ask, though I already know the answer. The look in his eyes confirms it before he says a word. The syndicate. His voice is so calm, too calm. The same people who've been after me for years. I feel a cold rush of adrenaline flood my veins. I want to ask more. I want to know everything, but it's as if there's an invisible force pushing me back, holding me in place. I'm suffocating in my own fear. You should have told me, I managed to say, but the words sound weak, useless. I couldn't. There's no one I can trust right now, not even you. The silence that follows is deafening. His words hang between us, lingering like smoke in the air. The realization that he's been keeping secrets from me for years settles into my bones. But it's more than just secrets. It's betrayal. I'm in too deep now, Maya, he says, walking over to his desk and grabbing something from a drawer. He slams the folder in front of me, the folder I'd just hidden the letter in. They're watching us. They know everything. I look at the folder, at the pictures of the burned house and the documents covered in black ink. They're just information. Nothing more. But why does it feel like I'm about to lose everything? This is bigger than the fire, Maya, he continues, voice low. The fire was just a warning. They want something from me. And it's not money. It's power. I swallow hard. Power? What kind of power? He looks at me, his eyes sharp now, dangerous. They want control of the company. They want control of you. Me? The word hits me like a slap. Exactly. Your investments, your decisions, they know you've been moving in ways that could jeopardize everything I've built. He pauses. You're a pawn in this, Maya. I don't know what to say. I feel like I've been thrown into a world I don't belong in, a world that's spinning out of control. The man I thought I knew, the man who taught me how to navigate the cutthroat world of business, is now telling me that everything I've worked for could be ripped from me in an instant. So, what now? I manage to ask. My voice is barely a whisper, but it feels like a scream in my head. He sighs, running a hand over his face. We need to get to the bank. We need to finalize the transfer before they make their move. If we don't, everything will be lost. The weight of his words sinks in. The transfer? I've seen the paperwork. I know what's at stake. If we don't act fast, my father's empire will crumble. But it's not just the empire that's on the line anymore. It's me. My future. I nod slowly, a part of me still in shock, another part of me trying to find the strength to keep going. But as I stand up, the room seems to tilt. I look at my father, searching for something to hold on to. He's standing by the window now, looking out over the city. This isn't just about money, Maya. It's about survival. The fire wasn't just a warning. It's a threat. And if we don't act now, we're done. The word done echoes in my ears. Before I can respond, the phone rings. My father glances at the screen, his expression unreadable. It's them, he says, his voice flat. I freeze. Everything that's happening, the fire, the threats, the transfer, it all comes down to this one moment. And suddenly, the stakes couldn't be higher. The phone rings again. This time, he picks it up. And as he listens, I can see his face fall. It's worse than I thought. They know everything, he says, voice barely a whisper. I don't know how to react. I just stand there, the world around me spinning. They're coming for us. And I don't know if we'll make it out. I turn and walk toward the door, my heart racing. The phone rings again. The sound echoes through the mansion, a constant reminder that there's nowhere to hide. Before I leave, I hear my father's voice. They're here. I don't turn around. I can't. I have to go. Now. I can feel my pulse hammering in my neck as I walk down the empty hall, my mind racing. My father's words, they know everything, keep echoing, bouncing off the walls of my brain. I've never seen him like this, not even close. The stoic figure who raised me, who taught me to stand tall, is now nothing but a shell of the man I once knew. But I can't afford to fall apart. I can't. The hallway feels longer than usual as I approach the door to my father's office. The last time I was here, it was to sign the paperwork for the expansion of his empire. But now it feels like I'm about to sign away the only future I've ever known. I push the door open, my breath hitching in my chest. My father stands by his desk, his face drawn, eyes darting between the documents on his desk and the phone in his hand. The silence between us is thick, as though the entire room is holding its breath. The air feels different, charged, like something bad is coming. Maya, he says, his voice shaky. We're running out of time. The bank is ready to move. The deal is almost done. I stare at him, trying to keep my face neutral, but the weight of the words hits me like a punch. The deal is almost done. That's what we've been working for, what I've been working for, but now it feels like a trap. I nod, though the knot in my stomach only tightens. Okay. We need to move fast. He looks up at me, and for the first time today, I see a flicker of something in his eyes, desperation. But it's gone before I can really analyze it. I'm calling in the favor. The contact at the bank is pulling the strings, but they're getting antsy. They want confirmation. We need the full investment secured, or everything is lost. I walk over to the desk, glancing at the papers in front of him. The investment isn't just some number, it's millions. Hundreds of millions. It's my father's entire life's work, and now it's hanging by a thread. The clock is ticking. We need to keep them happy. The bank won't wait much longer, he adds, running a hand through his hair. We're on the edge of a disaster. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I pull it out, my heart sinking as I see the name on the screen, Chase. It's the last person I want to hear from right now, but I swipe to answer anyway. Hello? I say, trying to keep my voice steady. Maya, his voice crackles through the phone, filled with urgency. We've got a problem. Someone's leaking information about the deal. I don't know who, but they're onto us. If this gets out. The weight of his words presses against my chest. Someone's leaking information? Who? I demand, though my voice feels small. Who's behind this? I don't know, Chase replies, his voice tense. But they're close. Very close. The sound of my father pacing behind me makes my head spin. What's happening, Maya? He asks. Who's leaking? I don't know, I whisper, glancing at my phone, the cold reality of it sinking in. Chase continues. Listen, Maya. You need to get ahead of this. Find out who's talking, or we'll lose everything. The line goes dead, and I'm left standing there, holding my phone in trembling hands. My mind is racing, the pieces falling together too fast for me to process. A leak. Someone is trying to sabotage this deal, and I don't know who to trust. I can't breathe. A shadow moves in the doorway, and I turn to see my father standing there, watching me. Maya, who was that? His voice is a little too calm, too controlled, but I catch the flash of something in his eyes, something darker. I need to go, I stammer. I don't know why I feel the need to run. Maybe it's because I can feel the walls closing in. Maybe because I can't shake the feeling that everything I've worked for is slipping through my fingers. No, he says, his voice tight. You need to stay. We need to fix this. We can't afford to. The door slams open behind him, and I freeze. The man who enters is someone I've seen before, but never this close. The suit, the sharp-cut collar, the calm demeanor, he's not someone you cross. Mr. Cross, the man says, his voice cold and dismissive. We need to talk. I swallow hard, stepping back, a chill creeping down my spine. Who are you? My name's Nolan. We're here to make sure the deal goes through. He steps into the room, his eyes scanning my father's office, as if he's looking for something. And I'm afraid we need your cooperation, Mr. Cross. Cooperation? My father's voice hardens. You'll get nothing from me unless I say so. The tension in the room spikes, and I see Nolan's gaze flicker toward me. He knows I'm here. And that knowledge feels like a threat. Don't make this more difficult than it has to be, Nolan says, his tone shifting slightly. The coldness in his voice is enough to freeze the air in the room. Something doesn't feel right. Dad? I say, but my voice cracks. Stay out of this, Maya, he snaps, his voice suddenly full of force. He turns to Nolan. What's this about? Nolan steps forward, his posture threatening. Your daughter's involvement could complicate things. I think it's time for you to make a choice, Mr. Cross. I feel my breath catch in my throat. The room seems to tilt, spinning out of control. Nolan, I told you, my father begins, but his words are cut off. Nolan holds up a hand, stopping him mid-sentence. You're out of time, Cross, Nolan says coldly. Get this done, or we'll finish it without you. I step back, my mind reeling. The room is closing in. There's a snake in the grass, and I don't know who to trust. The game has changed. And I'm trapped in the middle. Nolan turns, walking out of the room without another word. His footsteps echo in the hallway. My father's hands clench into fists at his sides. I can see the anger in his eyes, but there's something else there too, something I haven't seen before. Fear. And then, in a flash of clarity, it hits me. The deal isn't the only thing at stake here. My father isn't just worried about losing everything, he's terrified of what might happen if we don't play along. I look at him, and for the first time, I realize I don't know who he is anymore. And just like that, I'm left with a choice. Stay and play their game, or walk away and risk losing everything. Either way, the clock is ticking. The door clicks shut behind me. I don't know what I expected. But this isn't it. The bank's office is sterile, a cold labyrinth of glass and chrome. The sleekness of the place matches the emptiness in my chest. I feel like I'm suffocating under the weight of this entire mess, this deal, this family, this life that's been carefully built and now, slowly, painfully, crumbling at the edges. The walls are too quiet, too perfect, too still. But then again, I should be used to it by now. The silence is my constant companion. The quiet whispers of a life I've been pretending to live. I'm led to an empty conference room by a man in a dark suit. No one speaks. No one greets me. I sit down at the long table, the soft click of my heels the only sound as I lower myself into the cold, uncomfortable chair. I'm being watched. I can feel their eyes. Every inch of me is under scrutiny. This game, this dirty game, has shifted, and I don't know the rules anymore. A man enters, followed by two others. The one at the front is familiar. David Cross. The man who holds everything I've worked for, and everything I never knew I needed to escape. Miss Cross, he greets me, his tone even, controlled, as if this were all just a formality. Glad you could join us. Let's get this over with, I say, my voice colder than I feel. I can't stand his calm. It unnerves me more than anything. He nods. We're all in agreement, then. The investment, the deal, everything hinges on the signatures today. The bank's decision is final. We just need you to confirm. Confirm. The word burns in my chest. I look down at the paper in front of me, but my mind races. The signatures. The deal. Everything. It's too perfect, too clean. Too many pieces fall into place for comfort. I'm sure you understand the implications, David continues, as though reading my mind. This is a significant amount of money. If this doesn't go through, well, we'd all have to answer for it. Answer for it. The words hit like a blow. What exactly are we answering for? I feel my pulse quicken. This isn't just business anymore. There's something more going on. And for the first time, I wonder if I've been a part of something I shouldn't have been. Answer? I force the word out, though it feels like ash in my mouth. You've got your money, don't you? What's left for me to answer? David's smile doesn't reach his eyes. He leans in slightly. It's more than money, Maya. You know that. I feel something cold run down my spine. The air in the room feels thinner now, as though it's harder to breathe. But the moment is interrupted by a loud bang, a phone, dropped onto the glass table. I glance up. The assistant standing by the door freezes, her face pale. Mr. Cross, she says, her voice tight, we've got a problem. David's calm cracks, just for a second, before he masks it again. He stands quickly, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. The others follow. Stay here, he orders me, his voice clipped. We'll be right back. I don't move. My heart races, but my mind is running faster. This is it. This is the moment when everything changes. The door slams shut behind them, leaving me alone in the sterile room. Alone, but not for long. I'm not alone. I feel it, deep in my bones. The weight of unseen eyes, watching, waiting. The walls close in, and I stand, my mind spinning. Something's off, and I don't know what it is. But I feel it. I've been played. But by who? A small drawer beneath the table catches my eye. I walk over to it, glancing around the room first, making sure no one is watching. My hand slides inside, the cold metal of the drawer handle beneath my fingers. I pull it open slowly, careful not to make a sound. There's a file inside. The papers are too neatly stacked, almost too perfect. But what catches my attention isn't the paper. It's the name on the folder. Chase Nolan. The name stabs through my chest. The room seems to tilt. The folder is thick, bulging with something that's meant to be hidden. I reach for it, my hand shaking. But just as I pull it out, the door opens. David stands in the doorway, his face twisted in fury. The two men with him have the same cold expression. Give me that, he commands, his voice low and menacing. I don't move. I don't know why. Maybe it's the adrenaline surging through me, maybe it's because I feel like I've finally found something real. You're making a mistake, I say, clutching the folder. You're not getting away with this. David doesn't answer. He steps into the room, and the other men move toward me. The room feels smaller now, tighter. I know I'm outmatched. But I won't go down without a fight. Just as one of the men reaches for me, I make my move. I dart to the side, slamming the folder into the table and making a break for the door. But David's faster. He grabs my arm, pulling me back. I struggle, but it's no use. His grip is iron. You don't get to make demands, he sneers, his face inches from mine. You're nothing, Maya. You're just a pawn. Always have been. And then, the twist lands. David's grip on my arm loosens, and I look up. There's a glint in his eyes, something I didn't notice before. It's not fear. It's calculation. You really think you have the upper hand, don't you? He says, his voice now tinged with amusement. You're only just starting to understand the game. Suddenly, it hits me. Everything I thought I knew, everything I thought was happening, has been manipulated from the start. The deal. My father's involvement. Even the threat of Nolan, it's all been a setup. And I'm at the center of it. David's smile widens. We'll see who really wins this time, Maya. And I know, deep down, that everything is about to spiral out of control. A phone rings in the corner of the room, but no one moves to answer it. I know it's my next move. I feel it. The clock is ticking. The office is silent. Too silent. The weight of everything hanging in the air feels like it's pressing down on me. The last few hours have been a blur of legal jargon, threats, and lies, layers upon layers of truth that have been so carefully buried, even I didn't see them until now. My hand trembles as I reach for the glass of water in front of me. The coolness of the glass doesn't offer any comfort. I've won. I know that now. I didn't just walk away from this, I took everything with me. But winning feels hollow. Do you want to know what I realized? I say, my voice low, more to myself than to anyone in the room. I glance up. The two men standing across from me, David Cross and his partner, the man who's been lurking in the background, pulling strings, are still as stone. I see the shift in their faces when I speak. It's almost imperceptible, but it's there. A flicker of doubt. They know what I know now. The game is over. You all thought I was just a pawn. That I was the one who didn't matter. That I was the one who would cave under pressure. I continue, my words sharp, cutting through the tension like a blade. You were wrong. David leans back in his chair, his face impassive. But I can see the shift in him. He's realizing it too. The power has shifted. I was just trying to protect what's mine, he mutters, almost to himself. His voice is softer now. But there's a quiet fury behind it, one I know all too well. Protect what's yours? I ask, my voice low, dangerous. What was I to you, David? Just a stepping stone? A tool? Someone to be used, someone to be discarded when the time came? David doesn't answer, but I see it in his eyes. It's there. He knows. But it's too late now. You had a choice, I say. I gave you a choice. I gave you everything, every chance. And you chose to play this game. But I wasn't going to be your pawn anymore. The room feels like it's closing in on me, and the truth finally feels real, like a weight lifted. But it also feels like a loss. Maybe more than I ever thought I could bear. I reach into my bag and pull out the document, the one thing I have left that ties all of this together. The key. I slide it across the table, letting it rest in front of them. David's eyes flicker to it, and for a moment, I swear he hesitates. It's the final twist, the one I didn't expect. But it's the truth, and it can't be undone. You know what this is, I say, my voice colder now. This is your undoing. The records. The real ones. Not the ones you've been feeding everyone. The ones that expose everything. He stares at it for a moment, his fingers twitching toward it, but he doesn't touch it. Do you think this changes anything? He asks, his voice steady, but I hear the cracks forming beneath the surface. This is just a document, Maya. A piece of paper. You can't win just because you have this. I smile, but it's a hollow thing. Maybe not. But the truth? That's something you can never take back. The silence hangs heavy between us. It's deafening. And then the door opens. The sharp click of the door handle is like a shot in the stillness. Two officers step into the room, their presence a reminder of what's come. David doesn't flinch. But I do. Because this is real. This is it. I've brought it all to an end. As the officers step forward, David remains seated, his eyes never leaving mine. But there's something broken there now. The facade is gone. He knows it. I know it. David Cross, one of the officers says, his voice firm. You're under arrest for conspiracy, fraud, and obstruction of justice. I watch as the officers handcuff him. The moment should feel like victory, but instead, it feels empty. Take him, I say, not out of malice, but out of necessity. This isn't about him anymore. This is about me. About finally walking away from the mess I've been dragged into. They lead him out of the room, but I can still feel the weight of his gaze on me. The same gaze that once held power over me, the same gaze that now crumbles beneath the truth. And just like that, the game is over. I turn back to the table, staring down at the folder, the evidence, the truth, the burden I've carried with me all this time. The door shuts behind me. The silence rushes in again, and for the first time in what feels like forever, I can breathe. I've won. But the victory doesn't feel like it should. You're still not free, a voice says in the back of my mind. But this time, I push it away. I've done what I came here to do. I'm finally free. And the truth? The truth will always come out, no matter how hard you try to bury it.